Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is the first of a two-part series where we're going to review and understand the campaign rules included in the Blood and Taxes campaign supplement for Baron's Wars rules. I'm dividing this video into two. The first one will be how we generate commanders and how we create the narrative, if we don't have our own narrative, how we create the narrative behind our campaign and the available options that are giving us by the author. And the second video will go towards and we'll talk about the rules and how the mechanics of the campaign work. I don't want to put them all together so we don't lose interest. Let's focus now on the narrative and how we create the commanders. So first of all, I want to show you, and this will we'll talk more analytical in the second part of the video. These are maps that are available in Warhost website. They're given here. You see map number 1. You can see 3 camps. There is a specific number of hexes that the author suggests, depending on how many, let's say, retinue commanders you have. You can make it smaller or bigger, and depending on how you want your campaign, you want your campaign to have a little bit of a strategy and movement, or you want to just quickly fight battles. So it's up to you really. You can make this map on your own, or you can make it smaller. It's not an issue. So this is the first map that you have, a map that is provided, and the second map is the one you see now with the river basically encircling the camps, except the yellow one. But this will come in the second part of the video. So we start in the campaign. First of all, let's talk a little bit about the campaign roster profiles. Here's the empty card where you will complete it. You will, first of all, decide who is going to be your campaign leader, your retinue leader. Every commander is called the retinue leader, and he has 2 banner leaders. So every player will have three commanders, the retinue leader and his bannerman, basically. So Chivalry Rating, we will discuss this. It depends on what leader you are, if you're a retinue leader or if you're a campaign or if you're a banner leader. The name, obviously, of your commander, the attributes, his allegiance, his rebel or he is royalist, his supplies, we're going to discuss about it, his campaign objective, relationship with the retinue leader, another very interesting narrative, and his abilities. This is based on his attributes. Now, his attributes, there is in the Baron's War rules a leader generator that you can use if you want to generate all these, as you can see, movements, attack, defense, morale, orders, etc. If you're familiar with Baron's Wars rules, and obviously the abilities are included in these rosters. If you don't want to generate it, there are obviously characters that are included in the rulebook, and they're included also in some other campaigns that are available from Warhost website, small campaigns that I've showcased on the channel. There are also characters there, so you can use these characters and you don't have to generate them. So let us start and check the characters of my campaign, and then we'll go to see how we will sort out all the narrative around it. So my retinue leader will be Thomas, Count of Pesh. As you can see here, his attributes, movement, attack, defense, or are included in the rulebook, and his abilities on the right. He is a rebel. He is supporting the King of France, so he's considered a rebel. Now, before we continue, let's see his bannerman quickly. So one of his banner commander, as you can see here, is Gerard de Fernival, Lord of Nottinghamshire, and these are his attributes. He's a rebel, and he's a banner commander, so he's a sub-commander, and his abilities is commander, inspire, chivalry, chosen, and formidable. As I told you, this is part of the roster that is included in the books. The third of my campaign commanders will be Eustace the Monk. His attributes are seen here. He's a rebel, he's a banner commander, so sub-commander, and he has his abilities, and he is supporting the King of France. Now, his opponents, the rebel opponents, their retinue leader for the royalist will be William de Warenne, 5th Earl of Surrey. He's included in the army lists of the Baron's Wars rules. He's a royalist, and you can see his abilities on the right-hand side over the coat of arms of England. His banner commander is Walter de Grey, Archbishop of York. He's a royalist, and his abilities are there. He's a banner commander. And the third in command, or well, the second banner commander is Eustace de Longham. He's a royalist as well, and his abilities are on the right-hand side. Again, as I'm saying, these abilities can be generated in the character generator part of the Baron's War rulebook. So now we have the commanders decided and we have their attributes. We have to start with the campaign narrative. And first of all, we have to start with the campaign objective. The campaign objective will be you, if you don't have your own campaign system or your own objective, you can follow the tables and you can generate your campaign narrative from the rulebook. Something that's very helpful and actually is actually really, really well done and well thought of. So we come here to the dice roller, the die roller that I have, and we're rolling now for objectives. As you can see, the objectives are 6. You roll a d6, and this objective will be the objective of the campaign. So let's start. So we roll for objectives, and we roll a 3. Let's go to the table and see what objective is for 3. And for 3, the objective, as you can see, is debt collecting. Successfully loot the most supplies from your opponents over the campaign year. So this is the objective of all 3 commanders of the Royalists. Let's start with the Royalists. So the objective will be successfully loot the most supplies from your opponents over the campaign year. And we'll discuss this when we go to campaign rules. I may give you some hints about the rules, how they work. Now we have the objective. We have to go and as we have the commander objective, we will go now and see the relationship between the bannerman and he and their commander and the rating leader. We will have a relationship. That's quite nice. It creates a nice narrative. So let's roll. Here you see the relationship. We have 6 possible options, and let's roll for our 2 banner commanders. Let's roll now for Walter de Grey, the Archbishop of York, and let's see what relationship he has with William de Warenne, the 5th Earl of Surrey. So we roll, and we roll a 6. And let's see what a 6 means. And a 6 means battle brothers. Your nobles fought together, perhaps while on a crusade. So the relationship of William de Warenne and the Archbishop of York is they were battle brothers. So let's roll another die and check what is the relationship between our second banner commander, and this is Eustace de Longham and William de Warenne. So let's go again to our die roll and see. And we roll a 5. So this is the other relationship, 5. So let's see what 5 means. And 5 means childhood friends. Your nobles have known each other since they were small, when serving at the court of another noble. So the second relationship, first of all, we have the Bishop of York, that his battle brothers, the Archbishop of York, who is battle brothers with William de Warenne and Eustace de Longham. They are childhood friends. So you see a very nice narrative is start building up between the relationship of all these nobles. We'll do the same now for the rebels. So we have the leader of the nobles, that is Thomas Count of Pesche, and let's see what Gerard de Furnival, Lord of Hampshire, is to him. Let's roll again for Gerard de Furnival, and he rolls a 2, and if we go to the table, we will see that extended family. So your nobles are cousins or in-laws. So Gerard de Furnival is family with Thomas Count of Pesche, so they're family. Let's go and see well, I don't know what the monk, Eustace the monk, would have been to Count of Pesche, but let us see. Let us roll a die and see what Eustace the monk would be. And we roll a 2. So let's check what the 2 means on the table. And a 2 on the table means extended family. Your noble are cousins or in-laws. So all are family. All The two nobles. So we have a family affair in the rebels. So it's quite personal then, huh? So Thomas, Count of Pesh, is family with both Eustace, maybe an uncle or maybe a cousin, a second cousin, and also his family with Jean de Furnival, Lord of Hampshire. So now that we know the relationship between the retinue commanders of both rebel and royalist and their bannermen, let's check now the campaign objective of the rebels. And it's one. And let's see the campaign objective of the rebels. And the campaign objective of the rebels is feudalism. Capture and hold the most village tiles on the campaign map by the end of the campaign year. So first of all, we have the objective of the royalists. That is called debt collecting, and it's called successfully loot the most supplies from your opponents over the campaign year. And for the rebels is feudalism, capture and hold the most village tiles on the campaign map by the end of the campaign year. So we created a narrative, we created a campaign, so both campaigns are quite interesting. So let's go to the next step, and we now have to complete the cards of our commanders. So we complete here the campaign objective that we saw before for the rebels, and for the relation with the regiment leader, we said their family, and we do this for all our commanders. As you can see now, for the royalists, we put them campaign objective and the relationship between Gerard de Furnival, between William de Warenne and his banner commanders. So now we have the relationship, we have the campaign objective, we have the abilities and the characteristics of every commander, his roster based on the army lists of the Baron's Wars. As I said before, you can generate it. Let's go and check the Chivalry Rating. The Chivalry Rating changes. It's not the same. It changes depending on your successes or your failures or events on the battlefield. So if you are a retinue leader, your Chivalry Rating is 4. So Gerard de Furnival and Eustace, the monk, will have 3, and the commander, the Thomas, Count of Pesh, will have 4. Similarly, as you can see here, William de Warenne will have 4, and Walter the Grey, the Archbishop of York, will have 3, and also Eustace de Longham will have 3. This goes up and down depending on how you succeed in battle, what you lose, if you run away from battle, or random events that appear during the game. And now we've generated the campaign, we generated the relationship with the retinue leader, we have all the required things in order to have our basic information there. Let's move to the next step, and then we check, as you can see here, for the status. Now you have the status of the current situation of the campaign. If you see the table above, there is if your commanders are royalists or if they're rebels, there are some options. You can roll a die. You can do this if you want, but I already decided these commanders that will be royalists and rebels, so I don't need this table. But in your hand, it's up to you if you want to decide to make a random and decide, if you roll a 1, choose the opposite of at least one player. If more than one player scores a 1, roll again. Royalist on the side of John, rebel on the side of Louis. You see, you have options. But we decided already our allegiance from before rolling. So we go and roll to see what's the status of the campaign. Before the start of each campaign round, you roll a d6 randomly to generate how the war is processing. If the royalists have the upper hand, all our royalist players receive +1 in their morale rolls. If the rebels, they receive a morale bonus is 10, and this is before each round of the campaign. I will explain to you the campaign rounds. So let's roll and see who has the upper hand. And let's go to our die rolling, and let's roll our dice, and we rolled a 2. So if we go to the table, in our first round, before we start the campaign, there is royalists. So royalists have the upper hand, so the rebels will have a problem. The royalist players receive a +1 to their morale rolls. It's quite advantageous, to tell you the truth. So this turn, the royalists have the bonus, another advantage for the royalists. Now we finished all this, we go to the next step, and this is supplies. If you see the roster, you see here beside allegiance, supplies. So these supplies are consumed during a campaign year, and we will discuss about this during the rules, but we need to see what will be our starting supplies. We need to roll for every commander. So let's start with the royalist, and let's roll for Thomas Cantopesh, the retinue leader, and let's roll to see how many supplies he has, and he rolls a 5. If we go to the table, the 5 means that he has 13 supplies, which is quite substantial. Now let's roll for the second banner commander, the first banner commander, Gerard de Ferinval, Lord of Nottinghamshire. He rolls now to the table and he rolls a 6, and that would mean that he has 15 starting supplies. Quite good. He's rolling quite well. The rebels are rolling quite well. And now let's go and roll for Eustace the monk. Let's roll for him, and he rolls a 2, not as well as his fellow commanders, and he has 12 supplies. Let's go now to our royalists, and we roll for William de Warren. William de Warren, we roll, and let's roll for him, and we see he rolls a 1, a terrible 1 for the royalists. Very bad. They start with an advantage. The battle is going their way. They get a +1 for their morale, but for supplies he gets only 10. Now let's roll for the second bannerman, and that's the Archbishop of York, Walter de Grey. Let's roll for him and see how many supplies he has. And he rolls a 2. Again, not a very, very good roll, better than his commander. So he has 12 supplies. So Walter de Grey has 12 supplies. And the final roll, as we said, is for Eustace de Longham. Let's see how many supplies he will have. And he rolls a 1, terrible 1, terrible 1. And he will have only 10 supplies. So very bad for our royalist commanders. So we go back to the rosters. We see that everything is completed. We have the supplies, we have the allegiance, we have the chivalry rating, we have the campaign objective and relationship, and we have obviously the roster. So we are ready. We have all the information. We have the campaign, we have the relationship, we have created the narrative to start our campaign. But before we start, and as we finish, we will go and do one thing first before the first movement, and before we go into detail in video number 2 regarding the rules. We have to roll for a weather. So the player always with initiative rolls for the weather. I'm playing on my own. There is no initiative at the moment. One, but I will roll the weather. It doesn't matter who player rolls, as I'm playing solo. So let's roll a d6 and see what will be the weather for the first round of the campaign in winter, and it's a 6. So if we go to the campaign weather table, and we will see that a 6 would mean we have cold. So let's go see the weather effects. So we avoided snow, we're lucky, sleet, rain, we're cold. So for the campaign round, as you can see here on the top, the snow has no effect. So while you are playing on the campaign map. So for the battle, no long-range shooting for the first round of the battle due to numb fingers, slow to get ready. So it's very cold, your fingers are numb, you cannot shoot very well until your fingers get warm. You won't be able to shoot, at least for the first round of the hand-to-hand combat in long range. So now we have everything we need in order to start the campaign. But again, before you start the campaign, before you start the actually movement, you have to calculate the random events. Now, these random events are very useful and very interesting because they create an unpredictability that helps also with solo gaming. And these random events happen every turn of the campaign. So, for example, as you can see here in the campaign year, January, February, March, April, every round you roll for a random event, and this will affect the battle if you fight any battle, or it will influence your movement or your supplies or everything. Now we're going into campaign details. We will go back to this again when we have part 2, but for you to understand what we're rolling at the beginning. So Random events are many events. After the snow, there you roll 2d6s basically, and you get like, if you roll a 1 and a 1, it's 11. If you roll a 1 and 2, it's 12. So you go to the random event accordingly, and let's see what it is. So I will roll one die. This will be the first number, and the other one will be the second. So let's roll, and I roll a 4. And I roll 6, so 46. So let's go to the random events table and see what is 46 for. This is an example. This should be rolled for every commander. I'm rolling for one so you can see. We'll do this when we go to campaign rules. So let's say we rolled for William de Warren, and flanking move. One of your commanders can add a +2 to the movement on the campaign map this round. You choose. Very good. So you can add a +2 to your movement. You can move 1, 2, or 3 hexes depending on the die you roll. Now he can move 5, for example, so he's faster. So let's roll now for Thomas Count of Pesh, the commander of the rebels. So let's have a look. Let's roll the first die, and we're rolling, and it's a 5. The second die, it's a 2, so we go to 52. So we go to 52 of variant. So this will be for the Count of Pesh. Mercenaries join your banner. Mercenary Capitan in the region asks to join your banner. If you agree, you may take the group for free in the battle you fight to the total of 10% of your force. This group stays with you as long as you continue to pay them 3 supplies at the beginning of the battle and 1 supply extra each campaign round. So basically, you get extra men, these mercenaries, that will be equal to the total of 10% of your force. So if you have a force of 750, there will be 75 points. Quite a decent small little unit that can support you. So as you can see, all these random events that are rolled before every round, and as we said, every round is basically a month, as you can see here. So you have 12 rounds, and every season that you have the housekeeping let's say a procedure is specified here in this table. You have random events that for every commander that, as you can see, can be positive, can be negative, can be advantageous to the battle, but it generates an unpredictability on the campaign. So now that you have everything, we have all the objectives, we have the relationships, we have the supplies, we have the chivalry rating, we also have the weather. We know that it's cold, so we know in the battlefield we'll be in trouble if we shoot further away. And also we have the random events for the commanders. Now we are ready to start the campaign. We have all what we want to start the campaign and start talking about movement, about attacks, about how do you charge your opponent, about how you can avoid battle, etc. So this is from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed this first part. I hope I made you understand how this very, very interesting mechanics work. I hope you enjoyed this narrative, let's say, campaign that can be produced by these rule sets, the generic campaign of Death and Taxes. So thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for part 2, where we're going to go into the actual campaign rules, and will probably be a good idea when I get a table. Still, I haven't got a table. I'm thinking seriously of playing this campaign with the rosters I have. Let me know if you would be interested to watch it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye.